Hey guys, this is Jonathan Henderson with Pressure Washing Marketing Pros, and today I have the honor of being with Jackson Blackburn of Mount Baker Window Cleaning and Home Service Business Coach. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing so good. Thanks for having me, Jonathan.
Yeah, man. Thank you for joining. So, guys, I met Jackson in the flesh, like actually in person at the huge convention back in 2023 in Nashville. Just all around stand-up guy. And I know he's going to bring a lot of gold nuggets. He's grown a seven-figure window cleaning company, and he's also one of the coaches and home service business coach ran by Dave Mormon and his awesome team that, I see you guys killing the game, man. And so I watched a video or a YouTube video by you where you're talking about Maverick employees. And I said, you know what? Jackson definitely needs to go ahead and get on the channel because I know he has a wealth of knowledge. So thank you, man, for going ahead and joining, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I'm excited to be here. We got, a little over an hour, so my time is yours, and I'm just happy to share some knowledge with anyone listening.
Yeah, man. So you're based out of Bellingham, Washington, right? Run a seven-figure window cleaning company. So tell us how you got started because I know when I watched one of the videos that you had with Upflip, I know that you said you had various jobs, all of that. Can you tell me the journey that you had to where you were starting Mount Baker window cleaning?
Yeah, I think me starting Mount Baker window cleaning probably looked a little bit different than a lot of people that have entered the pressure washing, window cleaning, or landscaping space. And really, how I got into it was completely out of necessity. I had been battling a lot of seasonal jobs from the time that I was around 17 to the time that I was 24 when I started Mount Baker window cleaning. I did everything from working on fishing boats in Alaska to raft guiding to working at REI to, I mean, man, I did anything you could imagine that was a seasonal job. I probably tried it at one point or another. I think I counted it up the other day, and there was probably 14 jobs from the time I was 17 to 24, which is far too many. And so there came a point when I realized it just wasn't sustainable anymore for me to keep living a lifestyle that was not paying me very well, or I was picking up and moving. It was
Mhm.
exciting. And when I look back at the time, I do think that I learned a lot from those experiences, and it probably set me up pretty well, like just dealing with adversity before starting my own business. But yeah, there came a time when I was 24 and I realized that this cannot go on any further. I'm either going to keep quitting jobs or getting fired. And so I need to do something for myself, and figuring out window cleaning specifically, that really stemmed from me being a snowboarder. And I think a lot of other snowboarders in my area and that I knew just in that scene had started window cleaning businesses because it allowed them to work during the spring, summer, and fall. And then they'd be able to take the winters off to go hit the slopes. And so for me, that was very idyllic. It sounded perfect. And I remember, I laugh about this today. What really got me into it is I sat down with my friend and we had a beer and a pizza together, and I was picking his brain about window cleaning. And he said, yeah, man, like, you can make $200 a day doing this. And for me at that time, I was like, wow, like that's amazing. I can work myself, make $200 a day. So yeah, just kind of an interesting introduction into the industry.
Most definitely, man. So I know that you said that you started off with a budget of $1,000 for equipment. So when you first started off, how did you prioritize your investments and like what guidance can you offer other exterior cleaning, like pressure washing, window cleaning guys, when they have limited funds starting up?
So I did start with $1,000. It was bare bones. I
Yeah.
went to a janitorial supply shop. I bought a squeegee, an applicator mop, a bucket, a used ladder from someone on Craigslist, and that probably totaled, oh, I don't know, $300. And then I believe I spent another $300 on really thick index cards. I didn't know what door hangers were, that
Hmm.
you could get a company to print a door hanger that's this nice rectangle with a hole that you put over the door handle. So I got these index cards with our logo that I had made. A friend made me a logo for free. I think I put an offer on there for something ridiculous, like 30% off, 35% off. And what I did is I punched holes through these branded index cards and put rubber bands through them. And I went around for an entire fall just stringing these index cards on the homes, the neighborhoods that I wanted to work in. So that if I'd known more about marketing and door hangers, I probably wouldn't have done that. But that's how I got started. And I was so committed to the dream of being able to start this company. I handed out so many of these things that by the next spring I had a full-time employee and we were actually getting busy.
Oh man, so that was going to be one of my questions that you already answered. I was going to say, what was like the most successful thing that you did when you first started off your business in terms of marketing? So so just basically those thick index cards, man. But you had to really hustle in the beginning, didn't you?
Absolutely. I mean, it wasn't just me doing this too. Like I was employing my roommates. Basically, if you had a heartbeat, I would ask you to come punch holes through these things, string the rubber bands through them, and go pass them out around town with me.
Uh-huh. And I think a lot of guys get lost into thinking that they need to have the full setup, right? Whenever they're first starting, that they need to have SEO, they need to have Google ads, they need to have like, CRM integrations where they're like sending out direct mail and all of that. But really, I've seen a lot of guys do what you've done, that sometimes any action is better than no action. You know what I mean? And so I really like how you said that you bootstrapped that in the very beginning and you built that foundation. So can you tell me, can you discuss the initial challenges that you faced when you were first growing your business, and how those challenges might relate to someone else that's starting like an exterior cleaning business?
So many challenges, right? I mean, that
Uh-huh.
my life just seemed like I was just a problem solver now, and it
Uh-huh.
was a different problem every day, right? The
Uh-huh.
biggest problem that I had was probably money. It was very difficult in the beginning. The work wasn't absolutely steady. There'd be periods of time where it would pick up and slow down, right, and drop off. And so for me, getting past that challenge was really learning how to make my money go a long way, how to budget, and then also collecting deposits from clients was huge because that kept us cash flowing essentially in these times where I might not have work for a week. So that was really difficult. I remember there was a time where I went to a gas station to go fill up my tank. And I legitimately had zero money in my account. I couldn't put diesel in my truck and I just sat there and cried. Like I couldn't move. My truck was on empty. I couldn't do anything. And I think eventually, like a check or a deposit hit my bank account from a job that I had done that week, and I was able to fill up. But I was seriously stuck at this gas station. And as an entrepreneur, we go through this roller coaster, right? And at the very bottom of that roller coaster, it's called the Valley of Despair. And that was one of those moments I was in the Valley of Despair. But I was able to pull out. And I have since figured out systems and processes and marketing that make the finances flow a little bit better than it did those first couple years.
Most definitely. So where are you sitting right now at Mount Baker Window Cleaning in terms of like just employees, trucks, and if you want to divulge revenue, you can, man. Where are you sitting at right now? But you don't have to divulge revenue. I know how that can be sometimes, but yeah, where are you guys sitting at right now currently in 2024 for Mount Baker Window Cleaning?
So we have 9 technicians, 3 managers, myself. I still am a part of the business. I like to go in and coach our managers. We got 5 vehicles, so 3 of those are soft wash vehicles. 2 of them are strictly window cleaning, gutter cleaning, and holiday light vans.
Okay.
And this year, I'd say at a minimum, we're going for 1.2 million, and our far reach is going to be 1.4.
Okay then, man. So seven-figure business, like I said. So that is awesome, man. That is awesome. So I know you just described about the seasonality, the peaks and valleys of like that was one of the initial challenges that you had, was just the seasonality of the business. And I just heard you mention Christmas lights too, that you have soft washing, you have 3 soft washing trucks, and you have 2 other vehicles as well. Can you discuss like the seasonal nature of just exterior cleaning, specifically could be window cleaning, and how you managed kind of those revenue fluctuations, and what strategies you implemented now in your business to kind of go ahead and have your business thrive during that wintertime? Because honestly, trying to grow a seven-figure business in the exterior cleaning industry is going to be very hard if you're not getting a lot of jobs, you know what I mean, during that winter time.
Yeah, it's a challenge. We have added holiday lights, which keep us busy October, November, part of December. We have some takedowns in the winter, and it's great. Like that is awesome. It adds a lot of money into our bank account before it goes completely dead for, January, February, the beginning of March when there really isn't much much work happening. But honestly, I do think in some places and with a lot of businesses, it's a bit of a myth to think that you're just going to make your seasonal business run fully operational 12 months a year. And I think instead of figuring out how can I fill in every single gap where it's going to get slow, I think you need to dig deeper into another issue, which some people might find this a surprise that I'm going to say this, and I'm not going to apologize for it, but you need to figure out a way to get your employees really dedicated to your business. And when I'm hiring, I'm telling them, hey, man, September, August, maybe October, it's going to get slow. In the winter, you're literally on vacation going snowboarding. So don't expect, work. We can throw you jobs here and there. But if they're not committed to your company and it gets slow for a couple months, well, they're going to move on, right? And so instead of thinking like, oh, we can go paint houses in this month, or we can go clean dryer vents in this month, or I'm going to get a snowplow and hope that it snows this year. Those are all great and it can work well. And in some places, people do very well with that. But I think it's more realistic to figure out a way to get your employees so loyal to your business that if they hit a few rough months, well, they're on this ride with you. And that's really what we have done. There are still months at Mount Baker Window Cleaning that can be difficult, right? But our employees are so dedicated to their job. They love showing up and working together as a team and being a part of this mission that we've created with everyone, that I'm not scared if we have a rough month that gets really slow. We do half revenue. I'm not scared of them going away.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely, man. So I'm glad you said that, because I think that's one of the biggest problems that any home service business kind of goes through, is just going to be number one, what? Finding good work, right? I find, and you probably, because you're a coach, and we'll talk about that, and then we'll talk about the home service business coach and all of that, and how that's impacted your business and how that's also allowed you to give back. But in terms of like building a team, right? What qualities do you look for in your first hires then? Like if somebody's listening to this, they're like, look, man, I need somebody that's invested. I get guys that come in, and as soon as we have a slow month, they're on to the next company or on to the next thing. So what like qualities do you look for in like those first hires, or any hire, I should say?
I think the more important question is, what are the qualities of your business that will attract an employee, right? And then
Hey, yeah.
you go look for certain qualities in someone, right? And so for us, our why at Mount Baker Window Cleanings goes way back to when I started the business.
Mhm.
And that was, I started Mount Baker Window Cleaning so I could make enough money to go mountain biking and to go snowboarding, right? And so that is our why. It was my why. It's our business's why to this day. And it continues to be the why for all of our employees, right? And we make that known. We're very outdoor recreation focused. And so when people want to get a job with us, they've probably seen us around, they've heard our story. They're all outdoor enthusiasts too, right? So no one's waking up in the morning saying, I can't wait to go clean gutters in the rain today, right? No one, I don't think anyone out there really enjoys doing that. It's more about being a part of something bigger than yourselves, and being a part of a team that's working towards this common goal, which for us is, making the means and having the time to go do the things that we like outside. And so when we're looking for employees, some of this information will be listed in our job ad. We try and project this into the community and through our job ad. And so for me, when I look at applications coming in the spring, let's say we're doing a big hiring, the applications I'm going to look closely at are the ones that say, hey, I've heard about Mount Baker Window Cleaning and I really want to work here. Like I really like what you guys do. I love what you're about. I love your company culture. And for me, that's like almost an immediate hire. I'm still going to interview them and we have to see if it's going to work, but you have to want to work for us because of our values, and we have to see similar values in you. I don't care if you've cleaned windows for 5 years, if your dad owned a pressure washing company, if you were a roofer and have all this experience working at heights. I really don't care. It's not rocket science. Anyone can learn how to clean windows, how to clean a roof, how to pressure wash a driveway. It's easy. The bigger thing that you need to look at as an employer is, are they going to be someone who matches the values that you've set out in your business? And if they do, you're going to have a really good chance at building a team that has incredible chemistry, that can get through thick and thin together and wake up in the morning when it's pouring rain outside and say, hey, like, this is probably not gonna be that fun cleaning gutters, but at least I get to do it with these people that I really enjoy.
Most definitely. And I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you redirected my question, because I feel like sometimes guys do look for kind of qualities and other people, and they don't really know what it is, and they don't even know their own qualities, right? Why would somebody want to go ahead and work for you, right? And every business is going to be different. So you have to find, and I'm glad you said that, you have to find, because there's probably other businesses out there, right, where they're not outdoor enthusiasts, kind of like how you and your business are, but somebody probably found the people that they want to align themselves with. And once you build that kind of community, it builds what? A culture. And so I like how you said that, how you're trying to find people, like you've established what you guys are about so that you can look for those same qualities in other people instead of just saying, well, we're looking for somebody clean cut. We're looking for somebody that works hard, right? Because those are very generic.
Right. And yeah, you don't need to, it doesn't need to be outdoor recreation. It can be anything. If you want to pull a couple examples, let's look at Southwest Airlines, 20, 30 years ago, maybe even longer. They were so centered around customer service that was their mission, was to deliver the ultimate customer service. So guess what kind of employees that attracted? People that loved customer service and that were very good at customer service. And so they had an effortless time attracting and recruiting people that were going to be inherently very good at their jobs. You look at a company like Apple, where their mission and vision has been to change the way that users interact with technology, right? And anyone else that has that same drive or that same vision or dream is going to want to work for Apple. And so I think the really big thing that you need to take from this is your business has to have a why, right? Why are you doing this certain thing? It's not just so that you can make money. And if it is, you might need to dig a little bit deeper into why you actually started what you're doing. But yeah, man, I just think this you need to dig deep and create some values that attract people.
Most definitely. And so thank you for sharing that. I think the second thing that a lot of guys have, like in terms of, problems when they're, because I know this rooted from asking you kind of the challenges that you first had with your business in terms of seasonality, employees, all of that, right? So I think the other thing is marketing. A lot of guys, when it comes to that, usually, and you probably can attest to this, usually is going to be hiring and marketing, right? Like, I'm not getting enough jobs. So what's been the most effective strategy you employed in your business that has like increased your like revenue that you think is like, I'm not saying that there's going to be several factors, right? I know that you do a lot of different things, but what's one of the most effective strategies you've implemented in your business that's contributed to your revenue?
This is funny because it doesn't have to directly do with marketing,
Uh-huh.
but by far the best thing that I ever did was get out of my own way. There,
Mm-hmm.
there was a time when we were doing around $40,000 a month, and I had heard, well, when you get to the $70,000 a month mark, that's when you can really like afford an office manager and a production manager. You got 2, 3 trucks on the road. And I knew that I was so swamped at that $40,000 a month mark, just doing everything myself, that I made the educated guess that if I went ahead and just hired those people, that we'd be able to get to that 70,000, $80,000 mark. And so what I did is I took one of my lead technicians, I made him a production manager. I went out and hired the best office manager that I could find. It didn't feel comfortable. There was a turning in my stomach. I was going into uncharted territories here in doing this, and it was, I was kind of, it was a gamble in a sense. But the most beautiful thing happened. I gave these new managers their new tasks and responsibilities. I now don't need to be a production manager. I don't need to be answering the phone. I can just focus on marketing and sales. And guess what happened? The next month we hit $70,000. The next month we hit $80,000. The next season we were doing $120,000 months. And so it really came down to just delegating and getting out of my own way, because to think that you're going to be able to do everything in your business is ridiculous. And the chances are, if you hire someone that can just focus on those few tasks rather than you, who's focusing on everything and looking at the business from a bird's eye view, they're probably going to end up doing a much better job at those few tasks than you, who are trying to do, a million other things at the same time.
I agree, 110%. And the biggest thing is I literally just got off a call with a client who was talking about that, who's at that point right now where they're doing about, like you said, about 30 to 40,000 in between there a month. And he just closed a commercial job that was, I want to say, like $48,000, right? Like, and he can pocket probably about 35,000 of that. And he said, what should I do with it? But I said, look, man, you probably need to go hire somebody, right? You need to go hire somebody. You need to, really think about that. Because most guys get that kind of money and then they just want to go invest in like new equipment and do those things. But he even said it himself. He said, man, I don't want to find somebody really good and then I'll be able to retain them during the slower months. And I say, look, if you set your business up the proper way and you look at it, I don't think that we look at it in terms of what can this hire do, because we think about in the current iteration of our business, right? Like, okay, this is how our business is currently. I had this person, but we don't think about how our business will be after we hire this person. You know what I mean? So after you hire
Right.
the office manager, after you promoted to the lead technician, that changed your business. And so if you could do it all over again, then which you kind of did it perfectly, man, because those are like the first two hires people should have. But if there's a pressure washing business owner out there and they're at that $30,000, $40,000 mark, what first hire do you think they need to go ahead and get?
You know what? I think you're kind of at a Y in the road where you could go two directions, and it really depends on what you like doing and what you don't like doing. And so if you're someone that really likes to work in the office or do sales, then I'm going to tell you to hire a production manager. And now you've just bought back some time to spend in the office. If you don't like doing that and you really like being on the tools, being on the truck, spending time with the crew, then go hire an office manager. And now you've just bought back more time to spend in the field. And so it really just comes down to the owner of what they want to do. That being said, I will say that the fast track to getting into that CEO seat is hiring a production manager so that you can get into the office and doing sales. I have found that to be the more effective route if you're truly looking to grow, scale your business and get off of the truck.
I like that answer that you had. Honestly, I haven't really thought about it like that. Just because I always tell my clients office manager, but I like what you just said right now because it really in the beginning stages of your business, it's going to be about what your strengths and weaknesses are and kind of hiring around those right in the beginning, right? And so whether you like to be a technician on the truck, like you said, or whether you like to be an admin, you just go based off of your strengths and you'll grow a lot faster. So I really appreciate you for saying that. How did you, so I know you talked about when you first, you were looking for an office manager, you were looking for, a lead, well, you found a lead technician because you hired internally, but you said that you gave them systems because sometimes guys don't have any systems in their business or they hire these employees and they're like, I don't know what to do with them. I don't know how to fill their time up. So how did you develop your employee training and onboarding process? And what tips can you share with other guys?
Man, I have to credit that all to David Mowerman at Home Service Business Coach.
Uh,
When I was at that mark where I was at 40,000, I knew I'm like, man, we can grow. I just need a little, like I need a little kick in the butt and I need some knowledge and some tools to do this. And so I joined that program as a member 2.5 years ago, and he rolled out an entire library of systems. So it was legitimately as easy as me just copy, paste, put my logo in it, change a couple words, put it in my Google Drive, print it, hand it to a technician, and like we're just doubling revenue.
uh-huh.
It was pretty awesome. So yeah, I'd have to accredit that to Home Service Business Coach.
Oh, well, that leads me to this question then, man. How important was like mentorship and growth in your business, like after you hired David and home service business coach? Because me watching a previous video, I know that you said that that was a true pivotal and turning point in your business, that you were still doing good, but that true pivotal turning point was when you had David as a coach. So can you go ahead and talk about how important that was?
It was hugely important. It can be a lonely road as a small business owner, an entrepreneur, where you don't have a huge network to reach out to and talk to. And so if you've been doing something, let's say, the wrong way for years and years and years, it can be tough to know when to make that change or how to do things the right way. And so being able to join this community and be around other people in my same exact space and then have this mentorship on top of that just opened up all these doors and opportunities for me where I saw maybe what I wasn't doing so well and like what I could be doing really well. And all it took was for me to just implement that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between learning and actually implementing what you learn. And the true success at Mount Baker window cleaning just came from me taking what I learned in home service business coach and saying, okay, we're doing this now at Mount Baker window cleaning. And honestly, it did feel as easy as that in a sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's awesome. I know that I like to all the content, and I also see your videos too where you become a coach. And so so you being a coach and home service business coach, and we'll get to that. What common challenges do you see among like home service business owners, those including in like in the pressure washing sector? Like what are the most common challenges you see those guys face? Because I know some guys just are like uncoachable sometimes, you know, some characteristics they're like they think they know everything, all of that. What are some common challenges you see home service business owners have?
I would say mindset is a huge one. You know, if you've been charging a certain amount for years and years because you figured that if you charge that amount, that's enough for you to make money and get by, but you haven't put the thought into thinking, how much do I need to charge if I'm running a business that has 10 employees, right? Multiple
Mhm.
trucks and managers. And you're never going to get to that point unless you charge like you are that business. You know, if you're just charging for me, like let's say for Jackson at Mount Baker window cleaning, I'm saying I just need $200 a day to go snowboarding. And that works for a while, but there came a point where I realized I'm gonna need to start charging a lot more money for my services and value my services more if I'm gonna have a team because $200 isn't enough,
Yeah.
per day for Jackson and a couple employees, not to mention rent, your truck, gas, everything else, right? So that I think is a major one. And it really just comes down to the mindset that people have around what they're charging. And then also the mindset of growing, of I'm going to step off the truck. I'm going to let someone else take the tools and I'm going to work on other things because and hear this, however long you've been doing it, you've been making these pathways into your brain that literally tell your brain the way that Jackson makes money is Jackson goes and cleans windows, right?
Mhm.
Jackson goes, cleans windows, he makes $200, $300. And so to make that step off the truck, maybe into the office or into sales, well, your brain hasn't really had a chance to let you know, yeah, you might be making more money doing this. It's still telling you, oh, wait, you're not doing anything that's making you money. You're supposed to be out cleaning windows. And so that can be really difficult for people just to switch their mindset and say, okay, I see a path where if I'm off the truck, I can actually make more money than I have before, just because you've been doing it for so long that way.
Mhm. And you see a lot of owner operators in the home service business space, right? Where they say like, I'm booked out 2 months, and it's like, dude, you're booked out 2 months because it's just you, you know. And some guys will come
Right.
to me and they have like 6 trucks. They're like, how is this guy? He's a small company. How's he booked out 2 months? And I say, look, man, what he probably does in those 2 months, you probably do in like literally 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like it's going to be a difference on what that is, and you can make good money being an owner operator, but just like you had just keyed in on, it's really going to be a mindset shift because I had one of my clients, man, and he had to get out of the business because he broke like two of his legs, man, like falling off like a roof or something like that,
Oh,
and it kind of messed him up to where he can't really like walk roofs. He can't really like, you know, handle the physical taxation of like the job, right? And so I see stories like that all the time. And I tell guys when you're first starting off, you need like it's great, you know, when guys first start off and they're like, I'm running my own business, I'm my own, you know, I'm my own boss right now. I'm making money a good way. And it's like all it takes is just that one time. You get really sick, you have a family emergency, and then guess what happens? Your business goes away with that. So I want to talk about employees in a minute, but I think you hit on something where you set the mindset shift about charging, right? Because you said it's going to be about, you know, your pricing and charging basically, and also it was going to be about like just transitioning into letting things go and having other people run your business. But let's go back to what you're talking about in terms of charging. You've mentioned, you know, that you've mentioned the significance of choosing like a profitable, like choosing profitable jobs in the past, because I've seen that in some of your videos to enhance efficiency and revenue. Can you go ahead and talk about that?
yeah. Well, obviously it's better if you're doing profitable jobs,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's what I hope everyone's trying to do out there. But I think the way that we've made that work for ourselves is figuring out how long can we stay at a job site.
Uh-huh.
Because if you're trying to move your truck 4, 5, 6 times a day, the amount of driving time with breakdown and setup at each one of those job sites is going to absolutely kill your profitability. And so the days that we do the best are the days where we have 1 or 2 jobs a day, because our technicians are literally there producing for more hours on site. It's pretty easy math, right? So
Yeah.
for us, that's what we strive to do. I'm sure there are days where our truck moves around a little bit more. We still want to be able to service people at those, $300 window cleanings and get a few in of those a day. But the real profit for us comes at selling packages to folks where we can stay there for 6 or 8 hours during the day, clean their roof, clean their gutters, clean their siding, clean their driveway, etc. And that's been a huge key for us being able to grow, because now we're not paying a technician $25 an hour to drive for 3 hour drive, sit
Yeah.
down and break down for 3 hours during the day.
No, no, of course, of course. And so most guys that are probably listening to this will say, what, he's doing 1 or 2 jobs a day and he's projected to do between 1.2 and 1.4 million, because some guys look at that and say this guy's probably doing 30 to 75, jobs a month, right? And so how does he have all of this? Can you elaborate kind of, because obviously from what I'm taking from this is that you guys are really upselling, like you said, when it comes to packages. Can you elaborate kind of on upselling and how it's contributed to your profitability?
Yeah. So, when I say that, by the way, we do have 5 vehicles. So we'll probably average, I don't know, 10 jobs a day, right?
Yeah.
But each truck is maybe doing one or two.
Okay,
The
okay,
window cleaning
okay.
truck might be doing a little bit more, just to clear that up. Yeah, the whole
Okay,
company isn't
okay.
doing 1 to 2 jobs a day and making that much. That would
Yeah,
be pretty crazy.
yeah.
So upselling for us definitely begins at our on the phone, really. When people call us, let's say they get a referral from their neighbor or a family friend, and they say, "Hey, Mount Baker Window Cleaning just came and cleaned my windows." Well, guess what? I was only 24 and had no business background when I made the name Mount Baker Window Cleaning. So a lot of people think that we just clean windows. So the first thing that we like to say on the phone, or one of the first things, is, have you heard about our other services? Did you know that if we're there, we could also take care of this, this, and that, and give you a more value and also a discount on all of these services if we can knock it out in the same day. And then if that doesn't work for them, that's fine. We go for an in-person estimate, and what our service manager does is she will take photos of every corner of the house and also the areas that are dirty. So let's say there's moss on the roof, there's algae on the siding, their driveway looks dirty and gross. We're going to take photos of that and put it into a company cam report, and start to edit those photos and make these little yellow arrows that point and say stage 3 moss infestation, like dirty driveway, recommend power clean. And then we send that in a quote with optional line items so that people can make their own packages based upon our findings. And a lot of the times we'll go out for just a window cleaning quote, and we'll end up selling a client on roof, gutter, and siding, because we've said, hey, look, these are all dirty. Take a look at these photos. These are the benefits of cleaning them. While we're here cleaning your windows, we can give you a big discount on the whole thing because we can knock it out the same day.
Yeah. So there you go. Or there you guys go right there. You got the secret right there in terms of just upselling, and it all does begin at a phone call or at the first point of contact. So thank you for sharing that. And so I know in the past, like I know you just talked about so I actually want to add this because I didn't have it on my list of questions actually, but I do want to ask this. So I know you said like Mount Baker window cleaning, you said that you were in the very beginning, right? You said that that's what you called it, and what would you call it now, or what would you kind of have it be around now? Like knowing the lesson now, what would you call your business now? Well, you don't have
Such a
to tell me what
loaded
you would call
question.
it. Yeah, yeah. You don't have to tell me what you would call it.
I'll,
I would say like, what would you have it be centered around then? Because I know that is a loaded question. But what would you have it like be centered around then? I should say.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. Something like evergreen services would be a lot more marketable to a nationwide audience than Mount Baker window cleaning, because Mount Baker window cleaning is naming a very specific place in Washington state. I can't even go, 60 miles south and
Yeah.
be comfortable with my business being called Mount Baker window cleaning. And then also window cleaning, I'm like, man, that's kind of blocking myself in, backing ourselves into a wall with what we're able to offer. So I think having something broader with services can be really beneficial for your business. So yeah, I think that whatever it's going to be named, just make it so it can be easily branded and it's something that can be recognizable. Maybe it's catchy. Maybe you can make some awesome branding or logo around it. And then something just like services, it doesn't close doors for you. It opens doors the more that you want to grow. And so I've wanted to franchise, and it's still something I may do, but I'm going to do it under a different name because I'm not going to open up a business in Tennessee called Mount Baker Window Cleaning Company.
No, understandable. Understandable. And the name definitely does have an impact, especially on like digital platforms. People don't even know that it's gotten so serious that even Google will look at that, right? Google will even look at it and say, like, I don't care how much pressure washing content you've put on your website, like we're gonna rank you for window cleaning more than we are for pressure washing, right? Because your business is called window cleaning. So that's what we're gonna go ahead and do. And I see with my clients all the time where I say, look, guys, we're gonna have to go twice as hard as the other guys that have this in their name. And so I definitely think that was a good point that you made. And so you talked about just that brand building that you have and all of that. And you've emphasized in other videos that I've seen of you, like community involvement and company culture, right? But just community involvement. Can you tell us how this is like contributed to your business's success? Because I think that's why you guys are able to, upsell, do all of that, or why people hear Mount Baker window cleaning. And probably why you haven't changed the name now, man, is because you get a lot of referrals, you have a good brand out there. So can you tell us how you've like involved yourself in the community?
Yeah, I mean, those reasons are super localized, like hyper localized to the area that we live in. And that's part of the reason I did choose the name because it works really well for where we are. We're in a very outdoor focused area. Mount Baker is this massive volcano that comes out of the ground. It's got more snow on it than any other peak probably in the world. It's got an amazing ski area on it. And people love it in Bellingham. Like everyone knows Mount Baker, they love Mount Baker, and so for them, it's very relatable, right? And local, and people here like shopping local. So for me, it was a good move in a sense. Also, close some doors in another sense. And then with that, with the community, the ways that we stay involved are we give some of our profit to the 542 Mount Baker Ride team, which is a Special Olympics ski and snowboard team, so
Okay.
that they're able to have funds to go on ski trips, buy lift tickets, jackets, skis, snowboards, as well as the Whatcom Mountain Bike Coalition, which is an organization that builds and maintains some of the best mountain bike trails in our community. And so those are some of the organizations that we have chose to support because they are in line with our core values. And so if you look at Mount Baker from an outside perspective, everything we do works in a full circle. For me, starting it to be able to snowboard, to our employees working here so that they can get outside, to us donating and being in support of these charities so that they can get our community outside. So when you're hiring Mount Baker window cleaning, you are making a pledge and supporting outdoor recreation in our community.
Mm-hmm. No, most definitely. And so I'm glad you're making an impact on your community because that goes back to the initial thing that we were talking about earlier, like your why, correct? Like if people see that, and you've probably come across people that are in these associations or in these groups, and they're like, yeah, these guys over here do great work, and that's probably gotten you some big jobs, and it's probably gotten you some good employees. And so for all you guys listening out here, get involved in your community, have a bigger why than just yourself or just your immediate, surrounding, just kind of your whole community. So I really like that. Whenever I was watching your stuff, I was like, yeah, this guy gets on his community, all of that. And so that's really good. So has social media marketing helped you in building your brand? Just like kind of, and I'm not talking about like Facebook ads or anything like that, but I just mean like your like just presence on social media, just all of that. Has that played a role in like your guys' business and your brand?
I would say it's a bigger tool for us hiring than anything else. I'm not sure if our target audience is that aware of us on social media, to be completely fair, but I do know that it's been an incredible hiring tool for us because our target audience for the people that we're recruiting are on Instagram, and they do see the content that we're putting out, and they do understand from that content that we might have similar values and that this might be a place that they're going to enjoy working. So really, we've found the majority. We don't use Indeed. We do one Craigslist
Oh.
ad a year for hiring, and the rest is social media, and we're able to more directly reach our avatar employee by just like narrowing down our audience segment to just the local people in our community through Instagram. It works really well for us.
Well, that's see a lot of I didn't even know that, man. But that goes back to building a culture. That goes back to because most guys will tell you like Indeed. So you've actually developed your own kind of just hiring funnel then basically, right?
Yeah, we found that when we put out jobs on Indeed, and I don't want to bash Indeed because I talk to a lot of people in the industry, and I know Indeed has done wonders for some people, and they've been able to find some of their best employees through it. But in the past, when we have done it, we don't get the best core value matches. Where if we can put out one Craigslist ad and just reach people in this specific audience segment through Instagram,
Uh-huh.
we're going to get more core value matches that are our avatar employees.
So see guys, look, there's more ways to go ahead and hire people than just, the simple Indeed or any of that. Reach out to your network. So I know you were
Man,
talking.
can I actually say one more thing on this
Yeah,
too?
man,
Because
of
I think a
course, man,
lot of
of
people
course.
struggle with this. So I just want to make an example. If you're in a very large, like metropolis area and you're putting out an ad on Indeed or in Craigslist and you're just getting flooded with 200 applicants and they all look terrible, what I want you to do is to start, like, when you do that, you're casting a net over your entire community, right? But you might only be looking for a specific type of person. And so it's really important for you to build a employee avatar. How old are they? What kind of activities do they like to do? What kind of values do they have? And then once you have that, figure out, where do these people hang out? Where can I find them? How do I directly target them? And I just want to share an example. When I first started, I didn't know how to use ropes and harnesses to get on roofs. I had never done it before. And so what I did is I printed out some job ads and I went to our local climbing gym and I put them on the bulletin board at the climbing gym. I ended up hiring two rock climbers that worked for me for a number of years. They taught me how to use ropes and harnesses, and they loved the job because they got to use ropes and harnesses. And
Yeah.
so it's just an example. You don't need to go to a climbing gym, right? But like figure out who that specific employee might be and just narrow down your audience so you can just directly target them.
And thank you for saying that because I kind of got my wheels spinning because that's awesome that you said that. Because I was talking to a client 2 days ago and I saw that he put out a job posting, but I saw it and it was like this long on social media, right? And I was like, dude, I don't know if anybody's gonna read this, man. You know what I mean? And I was like, you're gonna post on social media, but his big thing is he used to be a veteran, right? In the Marines, all of that. So he embodies that. That's kind of the culture that he's built for his company. So I said, look, man, like you probably need to go reach out to veterans or see where those people are at, right? So well, I haven't told him that, but I will tell him that now. You know what I mean? And so that would be a good place for him to start.
Absolutely, man. I know businesses where a firefighter has started it and they've hired all other firefighters. They have an
Yeah.
amazing, company culture. There's another example of a business in Canada. I think it's Elite Window Cleaning in Ontario. I think his name was Chris. Chris, if you're hearing this, thank you for telling me this story. One of his franchise owners was having a difficult time figuring out how to hire employees for the business, and he used to be a chef. He was in the culinary industry. And so what he did is he put a job for cleaning windows under the culinary field in Craigslist and just explained, hey, you're probably reading this as a chef, this is for window cleaning, but this is why I think you're going to be a really good window cleaner. And he ended up hiring a lot of these ex chefs and has an amazing business now and an amazing company culture with all these people that get along and are driven towards the same thing. So just really interesting the ways that you can get creative in hiring.
No, most definitely, most definitely. So I do want to talk about your 3-year vision that you have for your company, but before we do that, there's definitely some questions that I want to ask you that I've heard you kind of expound upon in other videos. Is so discussing expansion, like what factors do you consider, before adding new services or entering new markets? Because I know that you had an epoxy flooring business, right? That you got out of so that you could focus on home service business coach and Mount Baker window cleaning. So there was obviously something where you're like, look, man, if I could go do this over again, there's certain things that I would consider before adding new services. Because like you said also in the beginning, some guys are looking at snow plowing and all these other things in the wintertime when, like you said, they need their employees to be more invested in. So what factors would you consider before guys just start adding services out of everywhere, you know?
Well, is there demand? Does it make sense? Is it going to be something that you can do 1,000 times, right? Anytime I'm looking at something, I'm like, is this is this a job or a service that I would want to do 1,000 times over? And if it's not, well, then we're not doing it,
Uh-huh.
right? If someone, and it's easy as an entrepreneur to get this like shiny object syndrome. So recently we had as our service manager go out to quote a roof cleaning. It turned out to be a cedar shake roof. And the quote I would have given would have been near $20,000 to restore this. But I don't want to do that, honestly. And like my service manager, to be honest, wasn't super happy that she's not going to get commission on that. But I decided that we need to stay in our lane and do things that we know how to do really well that are easily repeatable. If you want to grow and scale a business, it's going to be easier the less complicated you make your systems and processes. So if you're someone out there that is doing a million things for your clients, right? You're doing epoxy, you're doing sealing, you're fixing gutters, you're doing bird repellent, you're doing outdoor lighting, you're snow plowing, you're doing all this stuff. How are you going to train all your employees to do every single one of those things? And I'm not saying it's not possible. Some people have gone ahead and built a business like that and have been successful. But what I am saying is it's going to be a lot easier to build something at scale with just a few services that you've got amazing processes and systems for. So you can go ahead and repeat that 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 times a year over and over and over again.
And that's a good point. And not only do you hear that in the home service business area, but you hear that in marketing. It's the same reason why I'm called pressure washing marketing pros, right? We focus on one thing and, even have just a vertical of what we focus on. Because you're right. I see a lot of people talk about that all the time, where I literally just had a client building their website. And before we built it, they were like, man, I want to have I want to have like 5 pages on just like air duct cleaning and all this. We talked to a guy, and he's been giving us some of these jobs to keep us busy during the winter. But I said, dude, honestly, I don't think that's something that you guys are going to be doing consistently. And guess what? Literally, they hit me up, or they hit our team up like last week. They're like, take off the air duct cleaning. And I asked them why. They said, dude, we're not going to end up doing that like multiple times. We're already too busy right now. We're only looking to do it in the wintertime. And we realized we'd have to do it year round. And that's not something we'd want to do year round. And so, yeah, you hit it on the head when it comes to what are you going to do that's going to be repeatable, that you can go ahead and keep doing over and over and over again. So talking about that, I know we're kind of going not, I guess it's not left field with this, but it's something I want to ask you, because it specifically is going to kind of pertain to your guys' business. But how do you manage like equipment maintenance and replacement and ensure that you guys make sure that all your equipment's good, because you're in a super, super snowy area. And we were just talking about like having different services, all of this stuff that requires more equipment, all of that. But can you tell us how you kind of circumvent that in your business?
Yeah, so man, I have zero part in that at all, to be honest with you. I am not very mechanically adept. I think I
Uh-huh.
used to be when I was younger because I had to. I didn't have money to go have other people fix my stuff for me. But
Uh-huh.
in the last few years, I've been really delegating that. So we
Yeah.
have an equipment checklist, right, for our pressure washers, our vehicles. I mean, we have a lot of engines in our shop that need maintenance. And it just turns out that one of our technicians loves doing that kind of stuff. And so
Uh-huh.
I've given him the checklist. I'm like, here you go. Make sure all of this is done by, these dates. Make sure that you're putting, hey, this is the last date this oil was changed, etc. And he takes care of it for us. And I think the real kicker is he was someone who was really drawn into our company culture. He loves our business so much that one day I walked into the shop on a Sunday and he was under our wash trailer welding it back together after it had broken. I didn't even know he was supposed to be there. I'm just like, man, what are you doing in here? And yeah, he loves it. So I'm not the best person to ask about equipment.
Yeah.
Not my forte, but
Yeah, but you hit it on the head though. You have other people do it for you, and you at least have an action and game plan when it comes to that. Now, I know that you've talked about other methods of marketing and all of that. How's like your CRM and your returning customers and all of that? Because I know you guys are big on that, on kind of the organic side of marketing, right? Instead of like all the flashy things that people. So how has that impacted your business as well? Like just past customers and just your kind of inbound, I call it inbound marketing strategy, but just kind of the gold mine you're sitting on, which is going to be your customer list. How's that impacted your business?
we have so many people in our client list from the past 7 years that have already given us money for the things that we do, right? For cleaning their windows, for cleaning their roof. And so they're the easiest people to ask for money again, right?
Mhm.
And it's it's taken us to develop systems of how we're going to engage these people, when we're going to engage them. And so what we have recently done is we have made something called Deal of the Month. We're putting our first one out in a few days here. And so all of our returning clients in our system that we've done work for are going to get a new deal every single month. And my hope is that it creates some excitement for them. These are all people, the majority of them have left us 5-star reviews. They love us. They keep, having us back year after year. And so we're trying to just keep them engaged with our company, keep them engaged with our brand, and give them something to be excited about every single month, whether it be, a free exterior window cleaning with a full house washing package, or 50% off gutter cleaning here and there. You need to continue to re-engage your past clients if you want to keep them on. And a part of being like a loyal client over years and years and years, that comes from having them feel somewhat inclusive, right? And giving them these deals and cueing them in on what's happening. So that's how we stay re-engaged with our clients. So that's going to be 12 emails a year. They're also going to get a phone call from our office manager once a spring to check in on them. They get a happy call after the work is completed. So we definitely try to stay in good communication with everyone in our client list.
And that's smart of you to do. I tell people you're sitting on a landmine, even if you only have 100 people in your CRM and you're just starting off, like that's something that you can just tap into because you guys probably have over like 2,000 people in your CRM, you know? So even if like every month only 5%, which my math is gonna be terrible right now, but let's just say 5%, like I think that's like 100 people, right? But that's 100
Yeah,
people a month. Like if you have over 2,000 people and then only 5% of them say yes, you know what I mean? Every single
that's a
month.
full month of work right there.
Yeah. So I tell them that. And then also, you have it to where you guys can go out and service somebody's home. That's one advantage that you probably see because I know at Home Service Business Coach, you guys work with a bunch of different businesses, which we'll talk about in a minute, how people can benefit from your guys' program because I can say I have some clients in the program and, you guys do some awesome work. But I know you guys work with other home service business owners, but the unique thing about exterior cleaning is that you can go out and do somebody's windows or you can go out, wash somebody's house in the spring, do their windows in the summer, you know what I mean? Do their gutters in like the fall time and all of that. And they've come out and even do their roof. You know what I mean? That time period too. So you can potentially go out to their home 4 times or do all of those services at once. And you can't do that with other industries. Like junk removal, you can't I mean, what else are you gonna do?
Right. Right. Yeah, I was just looking at some of our return clientele, and we have certain clients that give us $6,000, $7,000 every single year because we're washing their roof, we're washing their gutters, we're doing their windows a few times a year, we're washing their driveway, and we're doing their holiday lights every single year. And that has come from staying in touch with them, creating a really good relationship with them. Like we're not having a transactional relationship. We're trying to get to know our clients. From the time they call in, our office manager is doing an incredible job creating a relationship with them. Our service manager goes out to meet them. She's also doing an amazing job of creating a relationship with them. And now we've got these super loyal customers who cannot get enough of our services because just like I like to delegate things, these affluent clients don't have time to be doing their holiday lights or to be messing with a pressure washer to do their driveway. And so they're delegating this to us, and they see us as a really convenient way to take care of their home.
And I like how you hit on that. You don't have to be perfect. You know what I mean? But as long as you can solve people's problems, you know what I mean? Better than they can solve their own problems, you'll be in business, right? And so you talked about a 3-year vision for your company, right? So, you said potential franchising. You don't have to divulge too much, man, because I don't want people being like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead I'm gonna go ahead and try to fight them. But just like what are your vision for what is the vision for Mount Baker window cleaning like in the next 3 to 5 years?
In the next 3 to 5 years, I think we'd like to grow to 2 million and beyond. And really, my biggest goal is to create something that I don't need to be there all of the time. I can do more business coaching. I can spend more time with my girlfriend. I can go spend more time being in the mountains and traveling. And I really still want the business to be there for our why. I'd love it if in 3 to 5 years we're running strong and we've got a really awesome team of outdoor enthusiasts that are happy working there. They're making good money. They're working 4 days a week and they get to go live the life that they want, doing the things that they want outside. And like that's my biggest dream of anything, is to look back in 5 years from now and say, wow, the thing that what you have built is would make 24-year-old Jackson so proud, because you've literally made this dream come true for yourself and hopefully everyone working there.
Most definitely, man. So that's a good vision to go ahead and have. And so let's talk about home service business coach. I know you're a coach there. I've seen David post some of your stuff on there. I know you're one of the top coaches there. You know, you're coaching a lot of individuals. Can you tell us about the program and how it can benefit exterior cleaners, all of that? Can you just kind of give us a breakdown and then like just the different, yeah, I wouldn't say packages, but just like the different kind of options? Because I know some guys are like, not every guy's your guys' client, and I understand that. But for the guys that want to be your client one day, or for the guys that are like, I can't afford it, but you know, I know you guys have several other options for everybody that's interested in getting coaching and all of that. So just kind of elaborate what home service business coach is, your role, and just all of these different kind of things that guys can get into.
Home service business coach is honestly incredible. I know I work there, so but it is, and that's the reason why I'm still there. When my membership ended as a student, I decided to stay on with them because I couldn't imagine leaving that community of like-minded entrepreneurs and business owners in the same space as myself. So I think where we really come into play, the two avatar clients of ours would be someone who has built their business, let's say, to 150, $200,000 and is looking to get off of the truck, but doesn't have the mindset to do it, doesn't have the tools or the knowledge to
Uh-huh.
hire, build systems for employees. Like, we're going to do really well for that person. And then secondly, and this is probably my favorite person to coach, is someone that's maybe made it to like the 400,000 a year range, and they have employees, but they're struggling to build out a management team and like take it to that next level. I would say those are kind of our two like niche people that I really, really enjoy working with. And we have all the tools to make it happen. And the great thing about HSBC is all of us that are coaches still own our exterior cleaning business or our landscaping business. So we're still very much in the industry. Like, we haven't sold it to become coaches. Like, we're all running profitable businesses in real time and can help our members really well because of that, because we're still in that space. And I've been at every single one of those points. Like, every avatar member that we can have, I have been that member at one point or another and made it past to the level that we're at now.
Mm-hmm. Awesome, man. Awesome. So I know we're coming up on that hour mark. I know you're a very busy guy, man. So I have my last question for you is I always like to ask everybody this in that sense. What is one kind of I don't like to call it a hack, but just one thing like you personally do to make you a better entrepreneur or better business owner?
Oh man, every morning I jump in a cold plunge. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have a morning routine. My morning is usually me just jumping out of bed and I'm out
Yeah,
the door.
yeah.
Um, One hack for me, I think, was separating Jackson from Mount Baker Window Cleaning Company.
Hmm.
And in the beginning, I didn't have that separation. So let's say we got a 1-star review.
Uh-huh.
Jackson got that 1-star review, and I would feel that and take it personally. And so when things happen to the business, I would feel it personally and it would really affect me. And so one day I realized, and I think maybe David had told me this, when I joined Home Service Business Coach, he said, you need to learn to disconnect yourself from your business, because Jackson isn't Mount Baker Window Cleaning Company. Like, if Mount Baker Window Cleaning Company gets a 1-star review, like, you're still Jackson, and like, you're very much so not your business. So the kind of dissociation between myself and Mount Baker Window Cleaning Company has really, really helped me be able to step away, not take things like as seriously at times, or be as like mentally affected by some of the bad things that might happen, on this journey of being a business owner.
I like that because I honestly, man, I can't say that I've done that yet. Anytime that any client like complains or we have something, I still take that to heart, you know?
Yes, for sure.
Sometimes, but most definitely you're right about separating that in that sense and that'll be good because we can all attest to this as business owners. There's gonna be times where like on the weekend and you just never know. Like I'm pretty sure 1 star review could happen like at midnight or something happens like with one of the trucks or something, and you're just like, dude. Like it's a Sunday night right now. All of the like, I don't feel like dealing with this. You know what I mean? And so it's really good to separate because it gives you that energy to go ahead and keep forward and keep going. But I guess the last question I have for you, man, because I know I kind of lied and said that was the last question, but
It's all good.
there's also one more question is that for what's the biggest piece of advice you would give anybody that's just starting off in this like they're just literally starting like this is the first 3 months first month doing this, like what is like that piece of advice you would give them that you think would really help them?
Put all your money into building your brand and marketing, all of it. It doesn't matter. You know, when I first started, I was buying those door hangers and I was renting pressure washers. If you go out and buy a $70,000 truck with a $30,000 trailer, I'm sorry, but you messed up. You had let's see, that's a total of $100,000. You know what $100,000 is in marketing? That's $1 million business or more in marketing. So if it's just a shame to see people go spend that 100 grand on just their setup, when if you spent that on marketing, you could legitimately build $1 million business in a year with that kind of marketing spend.
Mhm.
So that's my advice: is don't go blow it all on your equipment, market and build your brand, and you can get the equipment as you start to collect jobs.
Most definitely. Well, look, Jackson, this was an awesome conversation, man, and one of my favorites that I've done. I mean, you gave a lot of good nuggets, man. You have all of that, and so where can people find? I know people can find you like home service business coach. Like where can people find you though, man? Because I know you guys have YouTube channels, all of that other kind of stuff. Because like I said, that kind of just was in the back of my mind. I was literally coming back from the gym. I was like, man, I'm gonna put something on and listen to popped up on my YouTube. I see your guys' stuff, and I was like, I don't know what the guy's name is because he's another coach too. You guys talking about Maverick employees. I don't know what the other guy's name is. And I apologize. He's in there with you, man. I always see him all the time though, in your guys' coaching calls and all that. I,
Landon,
it probably is him, man. It's probably Landon, man. It's
probably
probably
Landon.
skinnier kind of guy, man.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, he's
Oh,
pretty strong.
is
He's a
he?
pretty strong guy. He's
Okay, no,
fit.
I'm not saying he's not strong, but like when I say skinny, I don't mean it like he's gonna look at this now and be like, man, this dude out here roasting me. But
Yeah.
uh, no, I don't mean like skinny like that. But he was like just like he looks like a super fit kind of dude. You know what I mean? And so
Yes.
it probably was him, but I saw that. So where can people find you guys?
Home Service Business Coach. We've got, we're on Instagram. You can look us up, homeservicebusinesscoach.com. I'm on Instagram as Home Service Entrepreneur. You can look me up, go and friend me on Facebook. My name's Jackson Blackburn. Should be easy to find.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to help people. We have a free program as well that we just rolled out, which has got a ton of training and sales. I'm not sure. I feel like we've got 1,000 members at this point now in that free program, but people are absolutely loving it. So if you just want a taste of what we offer in the paid program and maybe can't afford it yet, or you're not ready to drop in, absolutely go check out that free program on School. Look up Home Service Business Coach. We'll guide you over there, and I'm sure you're going to benefit from the knowledge and systems that we've included in there.
Yeah, well, most definitely. So thank you so much, guys. And I know you've been changing your in your Facebook stuff, man. I know you said you changed your profile pic after what, like like 4 or 5
Oh gosh,
years.
14 years, something like that.
Yeah, man. It was like I was like, oh man. So I see you getting your branding out there, man. So practicing what you're preaching, man. So we really appreciate that. So all those links, guys, will be below, just kind of like his Instagram to Home Service Business Coach, the YouTube channel, all of that, the website. And I'll go ahead and have somebody on my team pull the stuff up from school and all of that so that you have the information right at your fingertips. But other than that, though, Jackson, thank you so much for being on today, sharing your knowledge, all of that. And for everybody watching, thank you for watching or listening. And we shall see you guys in the next video.